When I was a little kid, like 10 or 11 years old, there was a young lady in my class I really wanted to date, and I just didn't know how to go about it. But I had an older classmate who was, a little bit more experienced than me when it came to getting the ladies. And I said, hey man, what can I do to attract this young lady's attention? He told me a phrase I'll never forget. Just tell her whatever she wants to hear. So what does that really mean? You need to find out what she likes and then use that to your advantage to get what you want, which is her attention. So then again, I found myself trying to find out what she likes, what kind of food she likes. If I could afford to get her a candy bar that day, I would do that. And hey, your boy was making some progress until another kid ended up taking her from me, and that was the end of that. But I learned one thing: if you want the attention of somebody that you like, just tell them what they want to hear. That is the same thing that happens in African American politics. People, when they want stuff from us, they don't really have to do it. All they gotta do is tell you what you want to hear. Now, this is a democratic way of doing business, except now they are very paternalistic toward Black America. Remember when Joe Biden said this?
Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't Black.
If you vote for Donald Trump, you ain't Black. So don't even consider another option, because if you vote for Donald Trump, you're not Black. But then, when he talks to the other communities, most notably the Asian community, about immigrants in the country, here's what he says to them.
Your first 100 days as president, what will you do to create a pathway to citizenship for many undocumented immigrants? That is a big issue for the AAPI community. As you know, 1.7 million face deportation threats. Another 100,000 are young people who are affected by the DACA program. So 2 parts for you. What are you going to do to be more visible? And what do you say to the folks that think you're just going to be President Obama 2.0? And what are you going to do about immigration right when you get in office?
On day one, I'm going to send a legislative immigration reform bill to Congress to provide a roadmap to citizenship for 11 million undocumented immigrants who contribute so much to this country, including 1.7 million AAPI. My immigration policy is built around keeping families together, modernizing the immigration system by keeping families, unification, and diversity as pillars of our immigration system, which it used to be. Ending Trump's cruel and inhumane policy at the border to rip children from their mother's arms. Take immediate action to protect dreamers, including the more than 100,000 eligible dreamers from East and South Asia. Rescinding the un-American Muslim ban immediately. Restoring refugee admission in line with the values and historic leadership of our country. Raising the target to a minimum of 125,000 people.
Yeah, he has it figured out exactly how he's going to do it in the first 100 days and everything. But wait a minute, stop the show. The Democratic National Convention is in about 90 days in Chicago. And Joe Biden, I'm assuming, will be there. He needs to get some momentum before he gets there. And this is what he plans on doing.
The White House expected to unveil a new way to tighten the U.S. immigration system. This is after President Biden has faced intense pressure to take action on border security.
Chris Sadeghi is joining us from the newsroom with a lot more on those changes. And Chris, we know this has been a hot topic here in Texas.
Yes, Dia, we've reported a lot about it. Texas leaders want the federal government to do more at the border. And today, the Biden administration is set to reveal new policies on the asylum process that would disqualify more migrants from entering the country. The proposed rule would allow immigration officials to bar migrants from asylum within days, if not hours, of them illegally crossing the border. Right now, the process can take years. It would target people who are considered national security risk and could put more migrants in fast-tracked deportation. Critics say this could lead to some migrants being wrongfully deported and denies them the chance to get the legal representation that could help them. This all comes at a time when Republicans have been tying illegal immigration to crime spikes. Now, the federal government and the state of Texas have butted heads over the border. This morning, we're waiting to see what comment Governor Abbott might have about this change. Mark, back to you.
All right, Chris, thank you for that update this morning. Meanwhile, a whirlwind of court orders to see what judges decide to do with the state of Texas's controversial immigration law. Senate Bill 4 gives law enforcement the power to arrest someone that they merely suspect of having crossed the border illegally. Texas Governor Greg Abbott says that law is necessary to crack down on border crossings. The federal government says it's an overstep. That law is on hold for now, pending the appeals court ruling.
Joe Biden is now giving the border agents a little bit more control to say no to people at the border, those migrants. But why wait now, Joe? I mean, you had 2 or 3 years to settle this now. Why are you now giving the border agents that particular authority? They've been asking for that authority all through Texas, certain parts of California. But hey, you let them keep coming in. But now what you figured out is, damn, people are upset with me. People are mad at me. And even in the black community, this is starting to happen.
Democratic Party, we're watching you.
Yeah.
We are disappointed. We are angry.
Yeah.
We are offended.
Mm-hmm.
And we feel like we're being mistreated, misused, and disrespected.
Yeah.
We will not continue to be disrespected by the Democratic Party. As I said yesterday, and I'll say today and tomorrow, if you're an independent candidate, Green Party candidate, Republican candidate, now is your time in this city.
That's right. You have Democrats who are black who are going to turn to the Republican Party because of the migrant crisis. Imagine you being in the black community in Chicago or in Harlem where you need resources and that money is being diverted to a group of people who have never paid taxes in America. How would you feel? And we all know that those people are coming to pretty much take over what you have because they don't want to give you what is owed in reparations or whatever the case. So what does Joe Biden want to do? He has to try to, pretend that the migrant crisis was never his fault. Well, listen, you guys wanted more border patrol. I gave that to you as your president, as if everyone is going to forget about what you did. But people have seen what's going on in Denver, in Boston, in Chicago, in parts of California, in Texas. We've seen the damage. And in many cases, some people have even experienced violence. Some people have lost their lives. In New York City, you have complete criminal gangs that are stealing things and then reselling them right outside of where they stole them from, and which is impacting the economies, which is impacting the infrastructure, which is impacting safety, which is impacting the police force. All of that is your fault, your administration's fault, because you wanted these migrants to come here. Now you want to stop them solely because you're going to lose the election. And we all know what you guys are trying to do, send Trump to court, trying to get him in jail so that he can't run for the office. I get it. I mean, whatever. Politics is interesting. But the reality is that if there's anybody who can get you out of the presidential seat, that person will beat you. And you probably are going to not get as many black votes as you did before. I don't know why the hell African Americans keep voting for a Democrat so that you can vote for a group of people to replace you, which is what they want to do. And I can see if African Americans are being a big problem for the Democratic Party. I don't see that this is the case. Why would the Democratic Party value African American voters? I'll tell you why they don't value you. Because they feel like your numbers are not enough and you don't give enough money to them, so let us just replace you. That's how they feel. Like, we don't really need you guys. You're going to vote for us anyway. So let's just get more numbers on the books and then we can kind of, just wash you guys out. It doesn't matter how we do it. And you'll still vote for us even if you're going to wash you out. That's the reason why African Americans need to understand that, hey, these guys are trying to really play with your livelihood. These migrants are going to compete with you in every which way. They're going to drive salaries down lower. Some of them are going to come with technical knowledge. Their kids are going to be competing with your kids for stuff. And hey, they're going to have more of an incentive to do very well based on your tax dollars helping them. If you don't get Joe Biden out of office now, it will be another 4 years of him even doing more damage to the community in which he does not care about. That's obvious. Joe Biden doesn't want to speak on reparations. Him or Kamala Harris has absolutely no intention to do anything for African Americans at all. And that's something that we should accept and understand. That's where he's at. He's not going to change. If you allow him to be president for another 4 years, the migrant crisis will get worse. And in fact, you will get worse. Your voting numbers will get worse because those people eventually will become citizens and they will become a part of the Asian community or they'll become part of the Latino community. But the community that will be lessened is ours. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson back at it again for the episode of Fair Use. I'm out.